Okay guys, so I finished the shawl and we just let it out to start blocking, so that I'm just filming so you can see the size it is before we start. So if I can zoom in, you can see it's not quite laying like it should. You can see like this, so we need to block it out so we can see the proper pattern. See, it's spiraled in, it's come back out instead of in. So I'm hoping to be able to film me and Duncan blocking that out, and then you can see the end results when we're done. Right, move this out the way. Thank you. Use any size, doesn't really matter. Put this in the centre. That there, I think, is about the centre. Just put another one in there so it doesn't go anywhere. Right. Okay guys, as you see, we've got the first base pin out. This is just literally getting so we can see where we are. You can probably notice it's not all evenly stretched yet, so what we'll do is we're going to go back over, repositioning things, measuring to make sure we've got it all correct, because you want it to be a perfect circle before you do any steaming. Going closer. So as you guys can probably see, what we're doing, you can't see the pins very well, but they are in there. You just see them there, look. And we're measuring from the centre out to a set place within the pattern, which in this case is just there, and then we're doing that same measurement the whole way round, so that each piece has the exact same alignment all the way round. Come back out. And that's going to make sure that we end up with a perfect circle at the end. Come out a bit more because it's getting harder to keep in camera. As you see, Duncan does most of the work for me because I can't bend down and work too much. I just monitor what he's doing. But he knows most of it himself now. Okay, so what we're doing now, we're just taking out the pins that are now under a large amount of strain. As we pull the corners out, the original markings will get shifted, so they're only temporary markers. We take them out as we mark lower down, and then that will even the centre out completely. So next we're going to start on the very points. What we're going to do is we're going to use the flexible wires thread them through each point, and then we will pin that round in a even circle. I'm gonna grab a flexi wire. Our next task is going to work out how far away from the centre and each other we do these points. Okay, so now measure our points.
Do you want to... Because that looks like a pretty long one. Centimetres.
53.
Okay, and then I think down...
This way.
Yeah.
51.
What's that one at?
52. I think 52 is probably going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
So that one's at 52 for definiteness. Yeah, so let's go to this one. That one's pretty close to 52. And this one. Okay, so what we're doing now is we're just pinning these out, so each point is 52 centimetres long. Then once we've got that all out so it's the full circle, we'll then measure the distance between each of the points to make sure that they're equally distanced apart. So Duncan's just calculating the distance each of the points need now, and then we will shift those ones into the correct positions and then rearrange any of the ones that need to be moved further together or further apart. Further together, that's bad English, closer together. So any that's not in these wires, we put the clip at an angle, and that helps keep it down flat, because otherwise it has a tendency to pop up. Looks pretty good.
Trying to even it out a bit.
Yep. I don't think I want to stretch it anymore. I think that's a good stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got that all finished pinning out. That has taken us 1 hour and 5 minutes, and that's with 2 of us. So this is why I charge so much for my work. Imagine doing this on your own. So next we're going to steam, which Duncan will do for me because he can reach over the whole thing and I can't. Okay, so the steamer's ready. Don't start it straight on your thing. Do it off to the side because often steamers like to spit. But Duncan's already done that, so he can go straight onto it now. Okay, he's using the cloth over it. He's not touching. It is just hovering over it. You do not want to touch this stuff because it is acrylic and you will melt it. But as you go round, you should see, if I can get in close enough, you'll notice that the stitches start to relax and they won't have quite as much pull on them. They'll just settle into their new position. So if you look here, they are in a pull, but as the bits are steamed, they start to relax. Try to make sure you cover every bit evenly. Which again is another reason why Duncan does it, because he has longer arms and he can reach. Remember, do not touch it. If you're using a steam iron to do this, it's even more important that you don't touch it. But even with just a normal steamer, don't make contact with the shawl, hover above it. Don't know if it shows on camera, but you can physically see the stitches relax once they've been steamed enough. Because this is a shawl, we're doing what is known as killing the yarn. We're taking the bounce out of it so that it just stays nice and fluffy. You don't want to do this on garments like jumpers and things because you want to still have some shape in your jumpers. Just letting the steamer rebuild up some more steam because we've used it all. Doing well though, got a good chunk of it done already. You see the stitches, they're just relaxing into it. Just making sure all the points are thoroughly steamed down. And because this is acrylic and we're killing it, this will stay permanently like this now. Yarn wool product would need reblocking each time you cleaned it.
Anywhere you think needs a bit more.
Let me just tighten this back up so it doesn't move, and I will come and have a close look. It's looking pretty good. Check this side. I think once more over the whole thing, and then I think we're good.
Okay. I think we're done.
There you go. So now what you're going to do is you're going to leave that there until it is thoroughly dried. So at least a few hours, but preferably a day or so if you're using a thicker yarn. This is a very fine yarn, so this should dry pretty quickly. But if you're doing it with a DK weight or a chunky weight or something, you'd want to leave it for a couple of days to make sure it is 100% dry. When you unpin it, it will spring back ever so slightly, but not too much, depending on the yarn. Some yarn, even after being killed, has a good spring, but in theory it shouldn't go much smaller than this. It may stay exactly the same size. There's no telling until I take it off, because I've not actually blocked this yarn before. The last one of these I made was with a 3-ply yarn, so that one took longer to dry and had a little more bounce in it than this stuff, so it's just going to be a wait and see. But that is the whole thing all done. Give you a close-up of the bits. So as you can see, it's relaxed into itself and down into the ground, so there's not really any strain other than on these points where we want them to try to create a pointed look on the edge. But there we go. Too close and you can probably notice the odd mistake I made, but I'm not worried about that. But that's how it's looking now. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Let's go back out so you can see the whole thing again. There we go. So it is quite a good size, but once it's finished I will give final measurements on it. So I'll see you all later. Take care. Bye. Okay, it's been there for several hours now and it feels dry, so we're going to take it out. So this is when we get to see how much it's going to spring back, so what the true size is. There you go, so it's sprung back a little, but I think it's still a pretty good size.
And look at those points.
The points come out lovely. So what's the final size? If I throw that down here? Make sure you're going through the centre.
About 92.5 centimetres.
What's that in inches? I like inches, you do centimetres.
36.25, almost 36.5 inches.
Not bad at all. So let's go in a little closer for you so you can see. So there you go, it's all out. Now we possibly could have stretched it a little more, but I didn't want to because this is such a fine yarn. I didn't want to put too much strain on it, but I think it's come out really quite nice. I go back out. There you go, and that's what it looks like. So it's really lovely and flowy, and it's really quite light now. You want to hold it open to the light, and I'll try to get that. Excuse the mess in the background, people. I think you actually have it showing it to them backwards. Let me have a look. Yeah, that's the correct way. So you see it's quite a good size, and it's really nice and light and airy. Let me mind having it on your back so you can see the sort of size it goes. Back down a bit. Pull that up. So that's if I can go out a bit so you can see. So that's on Duncan, who is a man, and so from his shoulders down to just around his butt area. So on the lady, that will be a really good size. Do you want to turn sideways? You can see how it falls just along there. So I think it's really nice and it flows really lovely.